Hey everybody. I just posted on my Tumblr an ask thing. Autumn asks, it's got like pumpkin spice, scarves, and all autumn thingies as asks. And one of them was asking if you could wear any outfit for the rest of your life, what would it be? And so my answer to that one sorry, I have a cold. My answer to that one gave me the motivation to do this vlog. I alluded to it in my blog about my my traumatic hospitalization experience. I mentioned a bit of it, kind of how I got to that point, how I was hospitalized, and I talked a little bit about, it was my first catatonia episode, and I was at college, so everybody's freaking out, and called the ambulance. There was like 3 different times within the span of maybe 4 or 5 days, ambulance ride to the ER, so, and I kind of mentioned just briefly, because it's its own story for our own vlog, which is happening right now, that my experience with the EMTs is pretty bad. They were it was bad. I won't definitively say that they were abusive or not. I'll let you guys make up your mind on that, because I don't know. I mean, it's funny because I did about the first quarter of an EMT course a long time ago, so I got kind of the first 25% of that training before I had to drop out for lots of reasons. But anyway, so I figured it's about time I shared that story. So basically, if you haven't seen that video about my experience, basically it was back when I was at college about a year ago. I had been self-diagnosed autism 6 months prior, and I had been nonverbal, and I had started having my first autistic catatonia episode, which, was what had me nonverbal pretty bad, and causes a lot of movement issues, causes dysautonomia, my heart messing up, my blood pressure messing up, a bunch of stuff, and it was just bad. It got really bad to the point where I was having full-on, like, temporary paralysis, unable to move, and so naturally people would call the ambulance. The second and third time was really close to each other, like not even a day, or not even 2 days apart maybe. And it was like over the weekend, so the EMTs that came the second time and the third time were more or less, there was a couple of the same ones. And the first time they were like, oh, blah blah blah, you're having issues, let's take you to the hospital. And the second time, it was the same issues, and one of the EMTs, wow, this is hard to talk about, sorry guys. This is how I know that it was traumatic. So I'm having a hard time not panicking right now. One of the EMTs that was the same, she got, oh gosh, she got mad. She got really mad at me. And if you can imagine, just put yourself in my shoes, I really kind of barely knew what was going on. Not only that, but being in a situation where I couldn't speak for myself, I couldn't move, I was very, very vulnerable, very afraid. Just that feeling of being absolutely vulnerable and unable to protect yourself from anything, and it was just being in a very feeling very powerless. And the second time, she just kind of, her response the second time, she was really skeptical. She was like, medically speaking, this is wrong, and she, there's a bunch of my housemates, and she kind of accused me of faking for attention, and she'd actually told my friends there that were like worried about me. They were like, she's fine, she just wants your attention, you should leave. Remove the reason to act out, and maybe we can figure out what's going on. And I was nonverbal, unable to speak, unable to move, and she's basically leaning over me and saying, how dare you abuse the system, and I could actually, the state, the state and the city that you live in could actually sue you for abusing the emergency system like this. And she was yelling, she was full on, like, personally offended, yelling at me, and basically said that if you don't speak up right now, if you don't talk right now, we're just gonna take you straight to a mental hospital, or something. It was something, some sort of threat of like, we're gonna leave you here, we're not gonna take you to the ER unless you speak up or something. So I managed just to, I just kind of screamed. I tried to, it was so hard to use my voice, I just kind of screamed to make noise so that she knew that I was protesting to the situation. Anyway, I was in bed wearing like shorts. I didn't have pants on at the time. And so the first time, the first couple times, they're like, oh, like, jeans pants, get her pants, get socks, you know, and they helped, and they carried me out. But this time, one of the other EMTs, or one of my friends, somebody, was like, oh, she doesn't have pants on, let's get her pants. And the EMT was like, no, she doesn't need pants. She can go to the hospital in her underwear if she's gonna act like this. Like, don't give her pants, don't give her socks. It was kind of a, there was justice in a little bit, in the sense that she's convinced that I'm just psychotic, and I'm having the dysautonomia, so like my blood pressure's freaking out, my heart's freaking out, and you know, they end up taking like vitals and it's taking my blood sugar, and my blood sugar was dangerously low, and my heart was messed up, and so one of the other EMTs kind of stepped in and said, oh my god, like, this is actually kind of serious. Doesn't matter, like, maybe you've got some mental stuff going on, but our job is, your blood sugar is very low, and clearly, you know. And they ended up keeping me in the hospital for a couple days with a heart monitor on, because my heart was messing up. But it occurs to me just now that this is the first time I've shared this story out loud, which is why I'm having such a hard time with it, so bear with me. I'm sure, like, as you can tell, it was very traumatic. Feeling that helpless and afraid, and like, as a society and as a world, like, as a whole, we're literally expected and trained to believe that doctors are safe. You know, doctors take care of you, and the EMTs, they come, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to be helpers. And to be in a situation where all of a sudden I didn't feel safe with the people that are supposed to make you feel safe. I'm starting to dissociate, guys, I'm sorry. I'll try to get through this video real quick. Goodness. Anyway, so it was bad. But, third time was better. It was different people. And anyway, I was nonverbal and explaining, there was a male EMT, explaining him that I was autistic, didn't question it, and he's very comforting. He was like, alright, like, we're gonna take care of you, it's gonna be okay, and are you cold? What do you need? XYZ, like, very understanding. So, I don't know, I guess there's some redemption there. But, sorry, I'm trying not to get emotional because I don't really want to lose my grip right now. Sorry. I'm having a lot of pauses. I'm trying to like leave my camera on and work through this, just, you know, because if anything else, I want my channel to be raw and honest and sharing my story and my situation, like how bad things have been for me. Also kind of to document, like, my tics start to show up when I'm having some PTSD stuff, which I'm still like a little bit fascinated by. Anyway, that was. I'm sure there's a lot more I could say about this, but I'm finding it difficult to continue talking about it, which I'm sure you guys understand. So, really, that's the story. It's pretty bad. It's getting hard to communicate, so I don't really know, like, I guess I'm just sort of trailing off, but that's that story. The end. I'll talk to you guys in another time, apart from now. Stay classy, stim freely, and I'll catch you next time.